Hi everyone, Teacher Lynn here. Here's a list of materials we are going to need for our printmaking assignment. So for this lesson example, as you can see, I am going to be doing seaweed and rocks for our background print and fish for the foreground print. When doing your prints, as in making these marks and pressing on your styrofoam board, you want to make sure that your pencil is very dull. If your pencil is too sharp, you run the risk of actually piercing through your styrofoam and possibly ripping your printing plate. It's important to remember that whatever design you choose, it's actually going to be flipped when you do your final print. When you press your printing plate onto the paper and peel it off, it will be flipped from the way you originally drew it. With that being said, the same goes for what you draw on the plate. So the areas that you're pressing in, instead of staying dark like they normally would, are actually going to be white. So now we're going to do some test prints. After pouring the paint on your plate, we're going to go ahead and roll it out. And usually this causes the paint to build up on the brayer very thickly, so that's what we have our second plate for. We roll out the paint, that way it covers the brayer evenly. You'll notice that if you try to paint or roll your brayer on the plate while holding it, it doesn't work very well. So what you're going to want to do is put the styrofoam actually on the table that you're working on, preferably over a piece of paper. That way the table doesn't get too dirty. Also, if your table does get dirty, please just remember to clean it up before the end of class. That way it makes it easier on your other classmates and myself included. Now we're ready to finally press it down. So as you can see, I am firmly pressing and pushing down on my print to make sure it transfers evenly. In fact, I even use a tool, which is actually just a roll of masking tape, to help push it down evenly. Feel free to use your hands or another tool like a ruler. You can see I'm not super impressed with the way that this print came out. It looks like I was missing a decent amount of paint on the top of my plate. So when I do my print the next time, as you'll see here, I'm actually going to make sure there's more paint on it. That way we get the coverage that we're looking for. I'm smoothly rolling my brayer across my plate, not too worried about the stray marks that I'm getting on my paper because, like I said, these are just test prints. Once my plate is evenly coated to my liking, that's when I'm going to flip it over and press it down to hopefully get out a better trial print than the last one. So again, taking that masking tape or your hand or ruler, pressing down firmly and moving it across the plate. That way all of the paint gets smushed down to reveal the print. Yay! It came out so much better this time. You can see the difference. Remember that in between switching paints, you fully clean your brayer. That way no colors get mixed. Speaking of mixing colors, I'm going to make a light blue very quickly. That way it stacks better on top of the green. Here you'll see we're repeating the same exact process as last time, rolling the paint, getting some of it off, and then putting down our plate on paper, and then rolling the paint on the plate. Once I have a nice coating that I'm happy with, I'm flipping it over and then pressing it down, repeating those steps to reveal the image underneath. Luckily for me, first time's a charm. This print comes out great, but for you guys, remember you at least need 4 of each. Now we are going to layer the prints. Now that I have my background print that I'm really happy with, I'm going to layer a foreground print right on top of it. If you're not happy with how your prints are coming out, remember you can always change colors, try different styles and placements, etc. Practice makes perfect, which is why we're doing multiple of each. And as you can see here, now that I'm working on my final, I kind of give it another press because I wanted the blue to pop more. If you remember, these are my two prints and what they look like versus my final product. After your print is finished drying, please feel free to make sure that you really make this your own. You can go over it with markers, paint, anything you want to kind of embellish your print and make you happy with it, because in the end, that's what matters. As you can see, I definitely went over my print. I wanted the fish to stand out more, along with some of the lines from the seaweed. As always, I'm here if you have any questions or need any help. Happy creating!